Well, you certainly wouldn't get much change from an 11-hour trip from Albury to Menangle and then back again, but my next guest, I don't think it would worry him if it was 20 hours on the road. He's so excited to be here. The gentleman in question is Ronny Calleja. Well, Ronny, good to catch up with you. You're here for the Waratah final with Rock and Dance. Unfortunately finished in the second half of the field. Different beach racing here.
Yeah, well, he was too far back. He did make a little bit of ground on the front horses, and he did go well. He didn't stop, which is major. But, like, he's only a 51 horse, and he was racing against 68s and 64s and that, so he's got his chance again.
And when you do find once a horse has had a run or two at Club Menangle, they start to find out what it's all about, so they improve on that run.
Well, I reckon he should, because he had 15 or 16 months off with chips in the fetlocks, and we give him 5 starts, I think it was, and we give him a month off, and I think he's come back better than ever, but he'll only learn, and I reckon he will improve enough to race up here on a regular basis.
First trip to Club Menangle, you were telling me you're excited about being here.
I am very excited. Well, you don't get a chance for the amount of horses that I train. You don't get a chance to come up here and pit it against the other blokes. But I'm not disappointed. I'm just surprised on what a beautiful setup.
Now, Ronny, you've got a very interesting story to tell as far as harness racing is concerned. It all begins with your father.
Yeah, Dad started with Gordon Rothicker back early 60s, and Gordon used to get a rough one or two, and he always asked the old man if they could straighten him up a bit. That went on for a fair few years. Then Dad bought a mare off Gordon, a mare called Myrtle Hewan, and with the offspring of that, he won. Des Ritchie and himself won 7, 112, 1-2 in Melbourne, and when we were kids, he couldn't read and write, so he used to get us out of school so we'd direct him which way to go.
Now, Ronny, it's not a bad way to start your career, learning from someone who became a legend and someone whose family certainly thought of so highly in harness racing than the Rothicker family.
Oh, no. Gordon used to call Dad boss. Gene, we used to go there and fast work the horses, and he'd tell me what Dad was doing wrong and right, and the association went on for many years. And then we had the association, a real good association with Des Ritchie, and the family had just went on and on and on, and then Dad started training a few, and I got a licence, and we come across a horse called Luster Lad. I won 21 with him. He won 8 in Melbourne. He held the class record at Moonee Valley for 12 odd months, and then I shifted to Wagga and stayed there. We had a few come and go, and they sent up a couple of horses here and there, but always had half a handy one with a few that I trained.
Mainly just a hobby trainer, because you're also a highly regarded farrier.
Yeah, well, yes, that's only been a hobby trainer all along, and mostly my own, and my brother-in-law, well, that's Rock and Dance's owner, so they sent him to me, and I think we've given him 9 starts and only been out of the money 3 times.
That time you spent in Wagga, you made a lot of close friends, and a lot of them still drive for you today.
Yes, like got Blake, got Jackson, Bryce, Gary Lang, all of those. It's a pretty close-knit, competitive, but very close-knit. Everyone would help you. Albury's the same. They're out to help everyone, but it is a very, very competitive sort of sport.
Speaking of Albury, March 2022, you were involved in a spectacular fall. In fact, the terminology was used was a sickening fall. You suffered a number of injuries, which we'll talk about shortly, but Trevor Sutherland, I don't think I've seen a driver go through the air as high. Maybe Richard Hancock one night at Harold Park, but Trevor just flew through the air at a very wonderful height and come crashing to the ground.
That has affected Trevor, because I don't think he's training anymore. He broke his jaw and his teeth, and I'm pretty close to Trevor. And Trevor's, I'm quite sure he's given it away, but I think it hasn't done his health any good. So he's going to drive a hot mix truck or something for his father-in-law, and he's shoeing, and yeah, it's been a horrible. That was a horrible fall.
7 broken ribs, a fractured heel, injuries to an arm and a leg, and that ended your career in the sulky.
Yeah, and haven't been able to work. They let me do a couple of hours every day, but I've been fortunate that I've had the likes of Gary Mackay, Bryce, Lynette. My brother-in-law, he doesn't help, but he comes up and annoys me. And my wife, she's got a stable hand licence. My sister's got one, so they all come and dob in. But it's been pretty good. Like, we get up every morning, and it's not a chore. It is a good sport.
You mentioned after the fall, I don't know whether you stole it from Arnold Schwarzenegger or he stole it from you. You said, "I'll be back."
I'll be back, and it's a way to keep me going because I get up every morning. I've got something to do. If you sit at home and do nothing, you don't gain anything. You don't gain much money out of a job, but still, it's a love.
Yeah, you've got to have a reason to get up every morning. So how many horses do you work, Rod?
Work 5 race horses. I got 2 in at Albury on Tuesday, and I got 1 horse. He goes very good, but he's got a few problems. But he goes very, very, very good. But we got 5, and they're 5 race horses, and I got 4 2-year-olds, which hopefully in the next fortnight I'll qualify them.
Glenn Lee Hanover's been performing well for the stable. Your second runner at Club Menangle tonight, later in the night. You certainly will be picking up a race or 2 shortly, particularly at Wagga.
Yeah, she's got to be driven right. She's got to have a draw. But she can't sprint for 800 metres, but she can sprint very quick for 4.
Ronnie, it's been great to catch up with you, having a bit of a chat and finding about your career, and hopefully we'll be seeing that smiling face at Club Menangle on a more regular basis.
I hope so. Thank you.